Wow, that was a wonderful video we just saw. We were not aware of this beautiful genomic world, isn't it? Velocity morning to each and every one of you. It's a very beautiful and a pleasant evening today. On behalf of entire Velocity family, I extend a warm, hearty welcome to one and all present here in this very special Velocity webinar. I am Marita Pereira, a certified genomic wellness consultant from UAE, Abu Dhabi. Today, we are introducing the 7th batch of CCNG, Certificate Course in Nutrigenomics, which starts from this Saturday, February 19th. I was a part of the 4th batch in this course. And see, now here I am as a certified nutrigenomic consultant. I was so excited and thrilled to complete the course. And now I have the skills and confidence in my career as a nutrigenomics consultant and a lifestyle coach. Thanks to Velocity Genetics and Stancer. This course is provided by Vignet, a wing of Velocity Life Sciences Private Limited. And Vignet stands for Velocity Institute of Genomic Nutrition and Entrepreneurship Training. We are so proud to say that Velocity Genetics are the pioneers and market leaders in gene-based wellness solutions in India. We at Vignet create genomic wellness professionals who make a positive contribution to society as informed professionals and genetic experts. Well, today I see many new faces. A warm welcome to all new guests who have taken the precious time and logged in for today's webinar. I hope all of you will enjoy the live demo of CCNG syllabus today. And for all those who have any questions, yes, definitely they'll be answered today at the end of the webinar. Well, just a few rules to be followed here. That all of our guests will be muted so that the speakers do not get disturbed. However, I request you to keep your cameras on so we can see, all you lovely, beautiful people out there. And if you need to move away from your seats, please put off your cameras. Now let us welcome our today's speaker, the master and motivator. And what I mean by saying this is that he is a fantastic competency in driving a vision and motivating people across wide spectrum. He falls in the category of born leader group. Let me tell you, whatever he touches becomes gold. He comes with a journalist background and he has been into this wellness industry. He is very well versed with health supplements and products. He is the pioneer in bringing this genetic program to India. Many people have been benefited in this past 4.5 years. So without wasting a single moment, let's welcome and put our hands together, waving for none other than our mentor, leader, chairman, and managing director of Velocity Genetics, Mr. Stan Serrao.
Thank you, Marita. That was some introduction and anchoring. I've become speechless now. I have forgotten what is the topic today. Okay, good. Thank you, Marita, for that wonderful introduction. And you being a student of CCNG all the way from UAE, Abu Dhabi, is definitely a feather in our cap. Of course, apart from you, there are so many other students that we have across the globe. We had people from UK and a lot of other countries as well who actually have taken our course and then completely satisfied with the content and the manner in which we have actually explained or carried out this course. Now, today's session is a little different than what we usually do. And the whole idea today is to explain to all of you, to the people who already have done CCNG, but just to remind you as to what you actually studied. By the way, we have a student who's an Ayurvedic expert, and she's been going through the course as well. There's a course happening parallelly. And she says, like, we have studied Ayurveda so much, and we are so much indulging in the day-to-day practice that we have actually forgotten certain fundamental academics of Ayurveda. So it does happen. So all the people who have already done your CCNG course, so it's a little refresher or a reminder. And those people who have already registered for the batch 7, which is going to start from Saturday of February 19th, 19th February. You can pay a little attention. It probably might work like a little bit of induction class. And for those who have not registered yet, but are coining this idea, is it beneficial to me? Should I do it? What's the use of doing this course? Please pay attention. You will be able to understand that this course will open up a lot of opportunities for all of you in terms of not only gaining the knowledge and the information about this wonderful world of genetics, nutrigenomics, epigenetics, and pharmacogenomics, and so many other dimensions of human genetics, but also it will help you become entrepreneur based on the genomic wellness. In the video that you saw today, you definitely must have seen that the lady who is the protagonist. She explains that there was a lot of criticism that the Human Genome Project from the 1990 to 2003 did not yield much, because there was a lot of hype about this being one of the longest and the breakthrough life sciences project. But she keeps explaining various things. And today, if you see that the world of genetics and the insights that are there can help us all in maintaining not only good health, but it opens up a lot of different opportunities to understand why we are the way we are. It explains our not only physical trait, but also psychological and behavioral traits. And we can trace as to why the person, behaves the way he or she behaves. So I just want to, for the benefit of the uh, people who are logging in for the first time, I can see a few people. I've spoken to a few people who said that they're quite happy with what we are doing at Velocity Genetics. So उन सभी लोगों के लिए I would like to explain a little journey of how we started. The whole idea of we conceptualizing genomic wellness was coined as long as 2010, but of course it was too early. We had a little introduction and some kind of uh, orientation on the genomic wellness, but it came down to 2016 when Velocity Life Sciences Private Limited was incorporated, and the company came into the commercial operations and rolled out its business in terms of offering services and the allied wellness products way back in May 2017. तो इस साल 2022 में जब मई आएगा, we will be completing 5 successful years, 5 eventful years in fact, and we'll be stepping into our 6th year. Now, in the 5 years, you can understand that the last 2 years have been spent in pandemic. So the best thing that we have done, we are known for 2 things. One, of course, quality services with a smile, and of course, the education that we've been able to impart. A lot of people used to uh, sort of be a little apprehensive about whether the company will be able to take off at all. Forget about surviving and making a mark in the industry. But we took it as a challenge. And then because of the conviction that we have, because of the passion that we have for this product and the technology that we actually went ahead and then started educating people. So, we have had a lot of people who have subscribed to our of the services that we've been uh, providing. And I just want to play a small video of some of the people. Some of you must have already seen it, but for the benefit of those people as to who have subscribed to our products. So here is this video. Sorry, I'm playing from my WhatsApp. Or maybe, okay, there's a little technical issue. I'll just come back to it and then play it during the session. So a lot of the very important personalities actually did it. Now, why do I say VIPs? I keep saying in all our webinars that every customer, every client who pays up and then buys our services is a VIP for us, because health definitely matters for everybody. But of course, these are people who are easily recognizable by people, and that's why we call them the VIPs. So what really we did in the first year is that for the first 6 months, we started creating a lot of awareness, and people were very little apprehensive. They felt that it is relatively little expensive, because everybody would compare with the prices of the blood-based routine diagnostic, the pathology, the diagnostic tests. But this gives altogether a different value altogether. So this test needs to be looked at with the value that they provide. And we've been educating people with various kinds of workshops, residential programs, scientific symposiums. And during the lockdown, we've been having a lot of webinars as well. And in that webinar, a lot of people have got a lot of good, positive results in their health, because they've been practicing what we've been advising through a gene-based action plan. And it's been an eye opener to a lot of people. So we eventually, in the year 2018, when we celebrated our first anniversary in Birla Matoshri Auditorium in Nariman Point, in Marine Drive in Mumbai. We had 1,100 people with a lot of celebrities as well. Our brand ambassador Pooja Bedi was there. So was Mr. Harman Bhavija, who is one of the leading Bollywood actors of a few years back. So all these people came and endorsed the technology that we've been trying to propagate. And that was the program when we actually announced that we'll be offering a course, a proper diploma course. But of course, eventually we have not been able to do that, and then we then changed it due to some statutory things to make it a certificate course. Earlier, we've been wanting to price it very high at 35, 40,000. But then, in order to enable people who are enthusiastic about understanding genetics, so we made it costing, made it very quite economical. And for those people who are already our business heads and area managers, you will be able to understand that the pricing has become more interesting with this kind of introduction of the business model. So what I'm going to do quickly is that it's going to be a very short session. I'm going to introduce you to Vignet. Vignet, as you know, stands for Velocity Institute of Genomics, Nutrition, and Entrepreneurship Training. So this is our training and academic wing. And if you click on velocitygenetics.com, from there you can actually get an access to this website, or simply type myvignet.com and you'll land into this homepage. Now you can see that we are going to start the next batch, the batch number 7, in the month of February, the current month, and we'll be starting our classes from 19th of February, which is a Saturday. So the online classes will be there from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So that's 2 hours. And if any one of you who are enrolling into this batch, if you miss the class, you will get a recording, which will be sent to you as a Google Drive. So you can just download, and then that's going to be there with you permanently. So you can do this. Now, you can see that we are institute with a difference, because what we are going to teach is not something that is just has an academic significance, but it also has a lot of day-to-day applications with a lot of insights that you will be learning in this during this course. And today is what, Thursday. On Saturday, this Saturday on 12th, we're going to have the convocation ceremony of the previous batch, which is the batch number 6. And I must tell you that the batch number 6 was the best amongst all till now. Till the previous batch, it was batch number 4, which did remarkably well. And in the batch number 6, there have been some students who have done exceptionally well. They've answered all the questions accurately, and they've scored very high, because the classes were very interactive and the student had a lot of questions to ask. So you'll get to see and hear and listen to them, some of them on Saturday. So I request all of you to log in and also attend those classes. Now, it's easy for you to go into the website and then read through as to what we really have to offer at Vignet. We'll be coming out with some more courses in the future, short courses and on various subjects. But yeah, Dr. Lopa was the rank holder, the number one student in batch number 4. Along with her, of course, there have been a lot of other students as well. But Dr. Lopa, I must tell you that batch number 6 has done much better than batch number 4. And of course, as I'm sure the batch number 7 might just challenge them as well. So Abhi, what I'll do is the moment you register, see earlier there was a link here for registration of CCNG. Now that's no more there, because we now will be booking all the registration for CCNG at Velocity Genetics websites, the other website, through your virtual back office. If it is not there, you can, you can do it from there. Here, you only have a student login link. So the moment you click here, you'll get your login page, and you can then log into your member section. So I'm going to explain to you as to what the course is all about, because this is a certificate course in nutrigenomics. In short, we call it CCNG. And if any one of your friends, relatives, or whoever wants to do it, they can do it for 4 different reasons. The first reason is your own personal health. Just imagine you go to a doctor, super specialist, for a consultation of 5-10 minutes, you pay around what, 1,000-2,000 rupees. Now just imagine that you're going to have 8 classes, 8 online classes in Zoom on genetics for the next 8 weeks. So the course fees right now is 6,771 plus 18% GST. It sums up to 7,990 rupees. So around 8,000 rupees. Now, even if you look at 16 hours of class, for 2 hours, we'll be charging you what? There are 8 classes. So for 1 hour, 500 rupees is what the consultation fees you'll be giving. So it's an elaborate class. So this class has 4 different sections. So I will go through all of those very quickly in a while. But the first page, when you register, our support team, the company officials will send you your username and password. So this is an online course with online study, self-study, along with 16 hours of online classes. So right now, if you see, पहले लोग बोलते थे कि मोबाइल यूज करो, बच्चों को यूज मत करो, बच्चों को बोलते थे कि पढ़ाई करो, लेकिन अभी पढ़ाई मतलब पूरी स्कूल, कॉलेज, यूनिवर्सिटी सब घुस गई है मोबाइल के अंदर. तो मोबाइल के ऊपर ही और लैपटॉप के ऊपर ही या ऑनलाइन में ही एजुकेशन हो रहा है दुनिया भर में. So here is where we have the online classes for you. So that's for 2 hours into 8 weeks. That's 16 hours. So you'll get this page where you will see the student dashboard. So of course you can put your image if you want to, and then their name, city, state, batch number, start date, and here you can see a grid. This grid actually tells your progress. It starts with 0%. As and when you complete your study, it actually shows you. So this student has done the study completely. The study has been completed, so it shows 100%. So यहाँ पर आपको welcome section में you'll see a welcome letter. You'll also see the timeline कि कब online classes है. And here is where the syllabus, I'm sure you're able to see the small fonts. And then you'll also see the faculty. You can just click and then see who are the people who will be teaching you this course. So apart from me, you have Mr. Milind Doshi and our counselors who've been, not only academically qualified, but then they've got a vast experience of dealing with a lot of patients across all, economic strata, different age groups, as well as different medical conditions. And then, of course, you can see when the convocation ceremony is. So this is the old batch. Of course, I'm accessing an old login. And then you can, of course, edit your profile and change your password. Now, if you see here, this section is called the first section, which is called the fundamental of genetics. So we're going to talk about fundamentals of genetics because day in and out, we're going to talk about genetics, genomics, and so many other things related to genetics. So we want to understand really what is the whole world about genetics. It was Gregor Mendel in 1965 started experiment about the plants, the pea plants, the watana plants. And wahan se jo experiment start ho gaya, so it was in the plant kingdom, and then it rolled down to the animal kingdom, and then of course the Human Genome Project started in the year 1990. So it's relatively a new science, and as you saw in the video, that मतलब बोलते हैं ना कि हिंदी में कि जख मार के हेल्थ केयर इंडस्ट्री को जेनेटिक्स का सहारा लेना पड़ेगा, because You can't be doing trial and error method, or you can't be doing elimination methods, and you can't be doing half-hearted diagnosis or unproven diagnosis and still administer chemical laden drugs that are going to harm. And that's the reason why ADR, or the adverse drug reactions, today is one of the major diseases. So the first section is going to train you to an extent that you are able to speak and understand about genetics quite comfortably. And there are 12 chapters here. So this is foundation or fundamentals of genetics. So in 2 months, don't expect you to be a PhD holder or a graduate or a postgraduate or even a diploma holder. You will be certified in this subject, with which you will be able to get personal benefits as an individual. Now, this is one course that you can actually, the content of which can be shared. You can share this with your family members. Let's just assume that you are doing fashion designing, or you are doing animations, or you're doing whatever other courses, technical courses, or maybe you're writing coding, programming, or you're doing so many other things. You can't be sharing this with your family members. They wouldn't be interested. But ये एक ऐसा course है जहां पर इसमें जो insights आपको मिलते हैं, that you can share with your family members and ensure that the natural pharmacy, what's the natural pharmacy? The kitchen that you have can be managed better, because you will know a lot about nutrition, genetics, nutrigenomics, and everything. So the second benefit is, apart from your own understanding about genetics, and I'll tell you that you'll become more confident, you'll be more relieved, you'll have a clarity of thoughts as to what are the activities that you should be doing, what everything that you will be doing in your life. You'll get that access to that information about you through understanding genetics. So genetics ke alawa, the second section is, sorry, I'll finish that off. So apart from your own personal benefit, you'll also be able to discuss this course content with your family members. तो उनके साथ भी आप इसको चर्चा कर सकते हैं. These are valuable insights that you will get. You can then be a genomic counselor. I'm not a just consultant, but a genetic counselor, or a counselor, talking to people and solving their problems, provided you're a qualified nutritionist or a medical doctor or a alternative healer. So if you are into the health and wellness sector already, तो आपको ये मदद करेगा. तो you'll be able to decode the genetic information. You can read a genetic report, and you can then curate a action plan. उनके लिए आप solutions भी पता कर सकते हैं. So that's the third benefit. And the fourth benefit is that you can be a genomic wellness entrepreneur. Today, India needs millions of wellness entrepreneurs. Why? Because we are still in that mindset of curative, कि बीमारी पहले आ जाने दो, बाद में देखा जाएगा. मेडिक्लेम इंश्योरेंस यूज करेंगे, अच्छे डॉक्टर्स की पहचान है, अच्छे हॉस्पिटल में करेंगे. And you will see one general trend that everybody wants to speak to a doctor, and then they will term saying that ये तो number one doctor है. So everybody wants to get to the number one doctor, and that's become more like a fashion. It's like a style statement that people do. ये doctor को दिखाया, वो doctor को दिया. It's not necessary if you really understand the physiology, anatomy, the metabolism of everything that we consume, and then the way the body functions. तो ये हम लोग पता कर सकते हैं. So that's the fourth benefit. And if you're a genomic entrepreneur, you will be able to enlighten a lot of people and create awareness. And that's the invitation that I have. So personal benefit for the family members, friends, relatives, and your near and dear ones. You can become a professional counselor, and then you can actually become a genomic wellness entrepreneur. एक व्यवसाय आप start कर सकते हैं. So for that, we equip you with the knowledge that you require. So first section is about, the fundamentals of genetics. Then we are going to talk about fundamentals of nutrition. हम लोगों को ये पता है कि protein, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, all that we have heard, but then we just need to put everything in perspective. What are macronutrients? What are micronutrients? How much of it is required? जब age होती है, then people will feel कि नहीं, थोड़ा immunity कम हुई है, थोड़ी सी सोडियम कम हुआ है, मैग्नीशियम कम हुआ है, मैंगनीज कम हुआ है, जिंक कम हुआ है, आयरन की कमी है, कैल्शियम की कमी है. ये जब नट बोल्ट लूज हो जाते हैं तब हमको एहसास होता है. बट when we are young, the body's wear and tear is not done adequately, मतलब sufficiently हुआ नहीं है, so we don't really care. But how about understanding nutrition at a very young age. Look at the generation right now. They prefer a Swiggy or so many other foods which may be very tasty, or maybe even the MNCs, which are like the food giants, giving a lot of junk food. So they'll give you a lot of calories, a lot of energy, but they don't give you the vital nutrients with which you probably may be looking healthier. You will have a great physique, and then you have a lot of energy to do all your work. But the vital nutrients might damage a lot of organs, and that ultimately might trigger a failure or a poor performance of a lot of organs. So that's where you need to understand the role of nutrition. Nutrition is not considered in India as a first in line of treatment. We still have this mindset is that the first line of treatment is medicines. Human beings are not designed, the body is not designed to process medicines. It's designed to process food. But food also needs to be careful, because depending on your genetic makeup, you will not be able to consume all the food. Some of you may like this and that. Some of we get a lot of people who will say, I don't like brinjal, or don't like capsicum, or don't like beetroot, or don't like carrots. There are some people who don't digest milk. There are people who are very allergic to various kinds of coffees or teas, or hot beverages. There are people who do not eat certain non-vegetarian food, or there are people who don't eat meat at all. Now, if you see, yesterday Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma made an announcement saying that we will have a no meat policy. They've already been vegan, Virat Kohli, but then as a couple, they have now announced. You saw, we also broadcasted that Rakhi Sawant saying, okay, now I'm going to be going on a gluten-free diet. We saw Novak Djokovic, who is the #1 player right now, though he was denied participation in Australian Open in the tennis. He actually could perform and become #1 only after he realized that he's a victim of celiac disease, and celiac disease is triggered by the gluten intake that is present in wheat, barley, and rye. And then he actually went on a gluten-free diet. पर इसका मतलब ये भी नहीं कि आज वेबिनार में सुन लिया तो कल से गेहूं बंद कर देने का या ऑल बंद करने का. That's very unscientific, because you need to understand your genetic makeup and your tolerance level. If you're tolerant, आपको कोई problem नहीं है, you can continue if you digest well, and then that gives you the nutrient, and your body is doing metabolism in a very optimum level, so you have no issue. So understanding that requires a thorough understanding about the nutrition. So we've got 12 chapters here, and of course then we have the theme of this course is understanding nutrigenomics, because हमारी genetic makeup के हिसाब से. There was an article that I'm not too sure if I sent that to all of you or not, but one of the things is that our body, as and when the age grows up, does not express a desire to drink enough liquids or the water content. तो प्यास ही नहीं लगती है. तो प्यास नहीं लगती है, so the body starts getting shrinked because there is less dehydration. So one of the important thing is to hydrate your body frequently. Of course, when we run around, when we physically get tired, हमको प्यास लगती है, so we do it. But as and when the age catches up, or the physical activities become reduced, the body does not communicate to the brain cells that you need, you need to hydrate yourself. That in itself, results in a lot of cell, I would say the cell, the reduction in the cells, the regeneration of the cell does not really happen. So yes, sab samajhne ke liye our counselors will, our faculty will be explaining to you as to how understanding nutrigenomics is very important, because you have now put a little foundation about genetics, and then about nutrition, and then we have nutrigenomics. So you will see that how we can eat food very scientifically. It's not that कि जब भूख लगे वो खाएं, और जो मन में आए वो खाएं, और ये जो अच्छा दिखता है, टेस्ट दिखता है वो खाएं. Just imagine a patient who's been in an ICU bed, and there is a central line that's been put to to provide food, because it cannot consume, the patient cannot consume. But that person has no sensation about whether the food is hot or sour or sweet or bitter. There's no taste sensation at all, because that's only the taste buds that you have in the tongue that will actually give you that sensation and feeling. But for that central tube, what's required is the adequate nutrition, and that's why even the medicine and injection could be given through that central line. So वहां पे टेस्ट का मुद्दा नहीं है. So we need to really understand for a while, अगर हम लोग टेस्ट का मुद्दा थोड़ा सा भूल जाएंगे, what will be the food that we'll be eating? Now you'll be able to understand that here. And then of course you have the science of epigenetics. Now when I was talking about genetics to a few people, people will argue saying that, look, it's not about genetics, it's not about hereditary, it's the lifestyle that's the trigger today for a lot of diseases. I completely agree with that, because genetics is like a loaded gun. If you have a loaded gun in your, at your house, that wouldn't kill you, but it's the lifestyle that's the trigger. So आपको आपकी गन को ट्रिगर करने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ तो ट्रिगर करेंगे तो ही आप वो जानलेवा हो सकती है. Same way, all the genetic risk factors that we have need not necessarily be life threatening. Let's assume for a moment that my genetic makeup says that I've got a risk for cardiovascular diseases. That does not necessarily mean that I would have a cardiovascular diseases, because that's only the risk factor. So risk is just a risk. It's not the end result. It does not manifest into a disease, and that can happen only if we trigger that risk factor. And that risk factor is nothing but the trigger is nothing but the epigenetics. What is epigenetics? It's a new science, relatively new science, about understanding how a lot of external factors or the environmental factors impact your genetic makeup. I'll give an example. Suppose हम लोग 5 लोग जाते हैं जुहू बीच में, मुंबई में, and then we eat a pani puri. 5 लोग जाते हैं. Now assume that pani puri was made from some contaminated water. Now there will be reactions. Now sometimes if you see that the reaction may not happen equally for all 5 people, maybe एक आध आदमी को कोई फर्क भी नहीं पड़ता है. Now that depends on the genetic makeup. The pani puri is made from the same contaminated ingredient, but the impact of that is different in various reasons. And the best example that we can understand is that the coronavirus came and attacked a family member, and agar wo family mein 5 log hain, it may attack all the 5 members and they all may be infected, but the degree to which they will suffer depends on an individual immunity. So virus is an external factor. वो अंदर नहीं पैदा हुआ था. It's been it was carried, and it was there probably in the nasal droplets or in the saliva, whatever. And ye jab transfer hua, it is an external factor. Now how it impacts also depends on your genetics. So lot of internal factors, external factors. Aapka food and nutrition, aap kis type ka khana khate ho. We keep saying that a lot of people, employees who actually take a tiffin, a typical tiffin is 2 roti and a little bit of sabzi. Now that's not the nutrition. वो hunger मिटाने के लिए लोग लेते हैं. So your how should be your lunch or dinner plate looking like? You will be able to understand that when you pay attention to this chapter, this section. So epigenetics. So your food and nutrition, your sleep patterns. Thanks to Thomas Alva Edison, while of course he is having around 650 patents on various inventions, he also is the inventor of electric bulb. Today, that actually become a nightmare for a lot of people, because look at the call center industry, the BPO industry. A lot of people are working for different time zone. Maybe Australian, call centers start as early as 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, or 4 o'clock. And the UK and the Western countries to whom we are catering to are working, exactly opposite time zone, exactly contrary to the circadian rhythm recommendations. So isse kya hota hai? There are a lot of hormonal changes that are happening. No wonder there are infertility centers today like a medical shop. So earlier, not producing children by couples was considered to be a social taboo, and people probably wouldn't discuss about it. They will be traumatized. But today that they'll take a lot of pride in going all kinds of infertility centers, simply because there's a huge biological change that has happened. So that's one example of epigenetics. So you will be able to see your sleep patterns, the stress levels, the food and nutrition, dietary patterns. Everything is there in the there. And so many addictions, alcoholism, smoking, and there's so many other tobacco related products. And to that extent, even being addicted to anything, addiction is nothing but anything that you do in excess without control. A simple definition, layman definition. So, even the social media, the addictions that we have. India records the maximum selfie death simply because of our obsession to take selfies with different angles and then impress people. And that's a psychological trait, and genetics does answer that. So, yahan par, so this is the fourth section. So we have 12 chapters each. And of course, there's a last section which talks about how to read a genetic report. It's like teaching you how to read an X-ray. X-ray में जब भी आप खुद collect करते हो, you all see it under a tube light or a light and then try to be expert. But of course, you need to be sure. आपको तो बहुत सारे जगह पे fracture दिखते हैं, तो doctor will say that नहीं कुछ नहीं है, problem नहीं है. So they know, they're qualified to actually read a report. So you will get a expertise as to how to read a genetic report. So we'll explain to you as to what's a genetic phenotype, what's a genotype, what's an allele, so what's the chromosome locations and all those things. And then, of course, we'll help you curate a action plan. Of course, you will not be able to curate yourself because you need to be absolutely clear about the various factors of nutrition, and you need to interrelate. Unlike allopathy, allopathic mein kya hota hai? Like the electricity board, the PWD board, or maybe the telephone department, all are so different that agar ek road khodna hai, I mean, they need to dug up a road. One day the telephone people will come and the next day somebody else will come, because there's no intercommunication between those departments. They all work independently. But our body doesn't work like that. Our body is one unit. Agar kidney ko help damage hota hai, that damage can impact the entire body, not just the kidney. Agar mera daant ko dard ho jata hai, so the impact of that could be experienced by, I'm not being able to eat, and adequate nutrition will not be given to the body. That will impact every organ. So same way, the body needs to be completely understood as one single unit. So we need to interrelate or correlate lot of genetic insights. कि अगर एक को diabetes है, diabetes के साथ साथ मोटापा भी हो सकता है. मोटापा के साथ हो सकता है कि उनको pharmacogenomics में there are certain medicines that are not given, or I mean, the medicines that are given are not going to have any impact. So this so you need to relate everything. So you need to be understanding completely. So that's why you will not be able to pick up much in one session, but you need to have a complete session, a certificate course for at least 2 months, where you will get to you get to read during the week. And when you have online class, you'll be able to understand everything from a counselor, from a faculty, and they also will be able to explain to you. So I'll quickly go through what are the chapters that we have, and I think then we'll wind up. So then the first fundamental of genetics, you will have introduction to genetics, Mendel's law of inheritance, कि हम लोग inherit कैसे करते हैं. What are the various branches of genetics? I talked about a few, but there are around 20 different branches. And let's understand the human cell. Then we'll understand what's DNA and what's RNA. Pandemic में हम लोगों ने DNA, RNA के बारे में काफी कुछ video, TV chat shows देखे हैं. So let's understand what's the fundamental difference between DNA and RNA, and then also what's mRNA. Then let's understand the mechanism of protein synthesis. Now, protein, sometimes we don't really care much unless and until you go to a gym and you want to build muscles and build up a very athletic body. Then you remember white eggs because it has a lot of protein, or maybe you have this. Otherwise, the protein is not naturally consumed. So we need to understand the synthesis of protein and how vital it is in our health. Then we also understand the cell division, the mitosis and meiosis, how it's very important in the genetic space. Then what's very, very, very vital chapter is gene expression and regulation. Genes work like electric switch, maybe a fan, tube light or lights के जो घर पे switch होते हैं, so you can switch them on and off. Only when you on, उसका impact आ जाता है, fan चालू हो जाता है, AC चालू हो जाता है. Otherwise, it's dead. It's there, but it has no impact. तो आपके genes भी हैं, but उसको बंद कर देना, उनको सुला देना, उनको negate कर देना, nullify कर देना can be happening with gene expression. So this gene expression has a direct correlation with epigenetics. तो उसको समझना बहुत जरूरी है. And then we'll understand what's mutation. This is one more word that we have very frequently heard in pandemic, that virus mutate हो रहा है. Delta variant आ गया, then we have Omicron, and there are so many other variants. मतलब एक जो generation है उसके अलग-अलग versions निकलते हैं, the various generations or the variants. So उसके cousins, brothers, and सब ऐसा पूरा genealogy बन जाती है. So we need to understand what's a mutation and what's genetic variations that we see in the coronavirus. Then of course genetics in the healthcare management. We saw that video. Aage every diagnostic test probably could be triggered through a genetic test as well. And then of course the promising world of gene editing. So what's gene editing? It's a very dangerous area to go at this point in time. There are ethical, non-ethical issues, unethical issues, and there's a lot that's happening. So the governments are looking at how we can regulate that and then not misuse. It's like a AK-47 gun. अब उससे जान भी ले सकती है और आप अपने safety भी कर सकते हैं from the threat. So how you deal with it is something that we need to understand. So there are 12 chapters, fundamentals of genetics. Then we have foundations of nutrition. I want to quickly go through, understand the anatomy and physiology of human body. Let's understand हड्डी कितने हैं, organs कितने हैं, how much of blood that we have, what's the size of liver and what is its function. So understand everything from an organ point of view. And then we'll know that our body functions like a complex mechanism. So if we really grease it nicely, usko dekhbhal karenge, so I think we'll be able to understand. And there are some symptoms that we'll be able to read by analyzing our body and anatomy and physiology of our body. Then we have let food be thy medicine. क्यों जरूरी है कि हमको food को medicine के तौर पे खाना चाहिए, ना कि medicine को हम लोग दिन में इतना खाएं कि we eat like food, all colorful thing, रंग रंगीला हो जाते हैं अपनी जिंदगी. Then we have modern challenges of dietary patterns. As I already mentioned to you, what are the challenges? Because we go by taste, we go by brands, we go by the visual treats, we go by the status. So iski wajah se we are deprived of the nutrition. The soil fertility has come down. The ingredients that are used are synthetic, and this is going to impact us. So let's understand that. Introduction of dietetics and nutrition. So basics of dietetics and nutrition. Then of course, as I said, macronutrients kya hote hain, micronutrients kya hote hain. Then water as a nutrient, we have completely forgotten. Water mein hum log bolte the mineral water. So it has minerals that are essential for our optimum functioning. So we need to drink quality water. Sometimes there are different theories like the RO water or the boiled water or alkaline water. We have black water. So let's understand everything here. Nutritional needs for various life stages. What a youngster eats or what an infant eats, much different than an elderly person. So the appetite or the metabolism of the body is completely different depending on the age group. A pregnant lady requires a different type of nutrition than a person who is bedridden and who is sick. The person who's having kidney dialysis or may need a different diet. So we need to understand that. And then comes the science of weight management. There is a message that's gone saying being slim is healthy. It's not. There are people who have done keto diet and so many unscientific fat diets, and they've lost their life because they wanted to look zero figure and slimmer. You've got to be healthy based on your BMI. So understanding BMI and having the right weight, the balanced weight is important. So we understand here in this chapter. Introduction to sports nutrition and clinical nutrition is also another subject. And then lifestyle modifications play a very, very important role in you metabolizing the nutrition that you intake and in the disease prevention. So आपको genetics के बारे में और nutrition के बारे में पता जब चल जाएगा, it's very easy for you to understand the basics of nutrigenomics. So we then understand what's nutrigenetics and what nutrigenomics. Then what's like, genetic code kya hota hai? Like we have a passport number, our PAN card and, Aadhaar card number. We also have our own genetic code. So we need to crack that. And, genetics ko Bhagwan ki bhasha iske liye bolte hain, because when we were conceived, it was just one single cell. And wo single cell mein, ye vyakti kya banega, male, female banega. So there's one chromosome that determines. But apart from that, male or female, वो आदमी कैसे सोचेगा, कैसे दिखेगा, कैसे हंसेगा, कैसे बात करेगा, क्या इसका दिमाग है, कितना इंटेलिजेंस है, everything is determined by one single cell, zygote, and that cell replicates and then goes on and on. So there is a code in that, it's a program that's written. It's like a blueprint that replicates, and this is a very complex science we need to understand. So how now the nutrition, macronutrients and gene interaction कैसे होता है, micronutrients कैसे होता है gene interaction, and genetic predisposition अगर already रहेगा तो disease में किस तरीके से वो impact करता है, and celiac disease जैसे मैंने कहा कि is not still taken care well, taken up well in the healthcare industry yet. We are still dealing with acidity, we are dealing with IBS, we are dealing with bloating and all those symptoms which are a part of a larger disease called celiac disease. So isko agar samjhenge to you'll understand what's the importance of gluten and the challenges of lactose intolerance, दूध related जो products हैं उसको कैसे उसकी क्या अहमियत है. And so is caffeine, which we go to an extent of saying that it's a silent killer. Today, a lot of people are being killed because of the excessive intake of caffeine, which they are not really aware that it's going to create damage to them. Then, of course, the nutrigenomic counseling किस तरीके से करना है, targeted nutrition and gene-based diet plan किस तरीके से बनाना है, and the importance of health data. If you go to a doctor and if you don't tell the symptoms, doctor will just ask you to do some diagnostic tests, and based on the reading, he probably will give you. But your input makes a lot of difference in doctor prescribing you the right medicine. अगर नहीं होता है, तो you'll have to do trial and error method. Go to another doctor for a second opinion, third opinion. आज तो fifth, sixth opinion भी लेते हैं because people are not satisfied, and the interpretations or the recommendations given are so wide and contrary. And then, of course, is Velocity Genetics DNA testing program के बारे में हम लोग जानेंगे. So that completes your 3 sections, 36 chapters, 12 chapters each. Then comes the most interesting and very interactive section of epigenetics. As I already told you, everything that you can relate. कि सोना कब है, उठना कब है, क्या खाना है, क्या नहीं खाना है, कब, what kind of exercise, everything you need to do, and understanding mindfulness, what's your body, mind, and soul control, everything. So all these chapters, 12 chapters here. And then we have last 2 chapters, as I told you already, about understanding the report and understanding the action plan. Now, very important thing is you'll have to study each chapter very methodically. And once you study those chapters, at the end of the chapter, you have 5 multiple choice questions. So, if you go to first chapter, you will have introduction to genetics. So there are a lot of videos that we have put, which you need to study. And then, it's quite a long website, long content. So the content will be explained to you in detail. And at the end, you have some questions to be answered. So that means 5 questions हैं, उसको multiple choices हैं. अगर वो आपने सही जवाब उसका दिया, only then you will be given an access to the second chapter. You can't straight away go to the second chapter. Okay, I don't want to show you the questions. So ऐसे ही एक chapter complete करके you will be able to do this. And accordingly, you will be able to see your percentage growth here. Now, you cannot fake saying that, no, मैंने तो 10 chapter पढ़ लिया. Of course, we'll be tracking it at the back end as to how many chapters you have actually studied. So this is a little gist of this, this course. And if you really see that this course has been very, very useful. This is our main website, which is Velocity Genetics, and you can go to the YouTube channel here. And in the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see a small video that we have done about the benefits of the nutrigenomic certificate course. So here is the video. So that's the video, and we now come to the end of this session. We are open for some questions. So what additional information that I can give is that we're going to take around between 20 and 30 students, so that we personal attention to all of you, and our counselors will be predominantly doing the classes in English, क्योंकि ये genetics है. तो लेकिन आपको हिंदी और इंग्लिश ये दोनों भाषा में समझाया जाएगा, so you'll get a fair idea about how to understand genetics. And ये बहुत काम आने वाला course है. We would like to have more and more people enrolling. You can enroll from anywhere in the world, because the delivery of this course is online, and anybody, irrespective of the geographical boundaries, can attend to this course. The registration is not closed today. We can just extend it, because the first online class will be on Saturday, and if you miss the class, you will be given a recording the next day. Okay, so Dr. Umesh, thank you very much. Haribol. I'm sure you're doing a great work with your palliative department, with the elderly people. Okay, so all the classes will be on Saturdays, Jeff. Yes, Saturday, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, you will be sent the login credentials. Each class will have different login credentials. You'll have to log in, then you can study online. We'll give you assignments ki ye hafte mein kaun se classes, kaun se chapters padne hain. And once you complete that, you can answer your questions. You will track, and you will be chased also if people are not answering. By the way, this Saturday, yes, Saturday, 12th February, we're going to have the convocation ceremony. We're going to have two chief guests. One is, of course, Dr. Meenakshi Garg from the Manipal University from Karnataka, and another one is Dr. Sukshma Sharma from Symbiosis Pune. So they'll be our chief guests. They'll be, you can listen to them as to what do they say, because they've been tracking our company for so long, and wo aapko bata denge ki why nutrigenomics is important. So listen from those people who have done PhD in nutrition and dietetics. They will actually tell you the importance of nutrition and genomic wellness in the future. So you've got a great career in place, and you will see the students who have completed their batch 6 will be given certificates, and there will be a convocation ceremony where you will be able to see people who have done really good in terms of their whether they are first class or distinction rank holders and the top ranker. We have some breaking news this time when we actually have this convocation ceremony. It's open for all, so you not only log in yourself, but you also bring in your family members and friends, because it's a great learning session, and you'll see some experts speaking. You'll also see some of the students who have done this course will be actually expressing your their opinion and feedback about the course as well. The anchor for today, Marita herself, was a student in batch 4, and then she's done quite well in her class, and then she shared her experience as well. Dr. Lopa from Bhubaneswar, she's into alternative healing, and she's done this course. So is Commander Prakash Tanwani and many other people who are our students here. Commander Prakash Tanwani is from Vizag, Andhra Pradesh. So this has been a session. So I'm sure you do not have many questions. I think it's quite elaborate. So you can pay using credit card or any other online payment gateways. Another payment gateway is working. It's been integrated. We had a little technical hitch, but that's been sorted out. And you can register online or offline also. You can get back to us. So we are expecting all of you, our business head and area managers, many people who wanted to register. So please complete your registration. The online class is going to start on 19th February. So any questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Marita. Thank you, Dr. Umesh. I have nice memories of working with him very closely. He's doing a great job. Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. Yeah, so you got an overview of what it's like a curtain raiser. Okay, so now you start studying, and you will find it saying, oh, back to classroom. You've not been able to, you didn't have that principal. So I'll be playing that principal role with the danda and chasing you to do all your assignments on time, so that you'll do all that, answer all your questions. But you love it. At the end, you'll get more value. People ask us, saying that why you're pricing it so low? I think it should be sold at 30,000-40,000. Of course, internationally, ask Rohit Shah. He's done this course internationally, paying almost around 60,000 rupees. But of course, our intention is to reach it to more and more people. So thank you very much. Thanks for being here on this, on a Thursday evening. The next session is, of course, for our sales training program tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and the convocation ceremony on Saturday. Any questions? If you have any questions, any one of you can ask. But I think I was good enough to answer all your questions. Okay, any more questions? I'll wait for 5 seconds. If you have, say yes, or raise your hand. Jennifer, you've done all your questions, and Jennifer was really upset, saying I made some silly mistakes. Don't worry, your knowledge is more important than the marks. So thank you very much. Don't really worry, and you'll probably introduce more courses, and you can score high. All right. So then, thank you very much. Thanks, Marita, for that wonderful introduction. I think you should be also honing your skills as a professional anchor and a speaker, anyways. And thank you all for attending this. So with this, we come to the end. Goodbye and good night.